I'm Rob Roy from Flybuyer.com, and this is the Pilatus PC-12. Not just any PC-12 though, this one's been specifically modified for aerial firefighting duties. Owned and flown by a company out here in Bozeman, Montana called Bridger Aerospace. Bridger Aerospace is a company that I used to fly for a few years back, and their main mission is to protect people and land from the destruction of fires. They have a fleet of aircraft from Kodiaks, PC-12s, and multiple Super Scoopers, but what makes this airplane special is its ability to hang out on scene during a firefighting operation. They're not dropping any water, there's no special water compartment here on board as you can see, but what they are good at is getting on scene quickly and being able to loiter for a long period of time. First of all, it's single engine and single piloted, meaning you can just have one pilot in the cockpit to perform all of its flying duties. Obviously, that's exciting for many reasons, the first of which being that if you own this airplane outright and you fly it for personal use, that you don't need to have a co-pilot. Secondly, if you own a business or use it for business operations, in this case aerial firefighting duties, you don't need to pay a second pilot to be in the cockpit with you. It'd be hard to talk about this airplane and not mention the obvious turboprop characteristics of it. It is powered by a Pratt & Whitney PT-6A engine. That is a workhorse in aviation. It is known to be reliable and just a powerhouse, 1,200 horsepower to get this bad boy off the ground. Okay, I want to take you inside the cockpit, just put the doors down, show you what it's like on the inside. So we're gonna follow me up here. All right. Okay, now I'm inside the cabin of the PC-12. I'm sitting in one of 6 seats, as you can see right here. So I'm 6 foot, and honestly, it's actually really comfortable. Again, this plane in particular is designed for aerial firefighting operations, so it's not the most luxurious, but it gives you a good idea of what it would look like if you own this as a charter plane, or if you own this for your own personal use or for business operations. This would be a really nice way to travel. Kind of gives you a sort of business jet feel without going to full business jet cost. Here's what it looks like as I go down the aircraft. One thing to note about this model from Bridger Aerospace is that the seats cannot be adjusted by hand by the crew or by the pilot. They have to be adjusted by maintainers, meaning that there's not a single lever underneath the seat to move it forward. The seats, as you see them right now, are actually very comfortable, but they cannot be moved. It's also important to realize too is that you can't just move the seats forward without having an O2 supply readily nearby. I'm not sure what the exact distance is. Put the number in the comments if you know the answer to that, but you need to have O2 nearby in the cockpit to be able to have a seat. You can't just be sliding around all nilly-willy. One of the great things about this plane in particular, being that it's a single piloted turboprop, it's not too big, not too small, it really is the Goldilocks of aviation in that $3 to $5 million segment, is that you've, a lot like the plane that I flew in the Navy, the C-2 Greyhound, you can mix match the cargo area as you see fit, the cargo or the cabin area. If you want 6 passengers plus 2 pilots up front, or a pilot plus a right-hand person up front with 6 people in the back, you've got that, with capability in the back for carrying cargo. If you want just cargo, you've got a huge cargo door, 1 pilot and a passenger up front, or 2 pilots, and this entire area. Or if you want to mix and match, you can do that too. If you just want 2 seats, you could probably face them forward, you get this whole back area. If you want 2 and 2 facing each other, again, now you got a huge back area. So I'm not just talking skis and golf clubs, I'm talking about actual useful gear and supplies. Okay, so now we're gonna walk up to the front. So, all right, now I'm gonna hop in here and sit in the pilot seat. Okay, so sitting in the pilot seat, you can obviously see that I'm not the smallest guy, but it fits me pretty well. It's got that good blend of a modern cockpit, but at the same time, there are buttons and switches where I would expect them to be. Up front, we've got dual Garmin 600 TXI avionics. They are in fact touchscreens and can be used as PFDs or MFDs, or do split screen for both. One of the big reasons Bridger Aerospace bought this PC-12 is because it's actually a Model 47, or Series 10, which is right before Pilatus began installing Honeywell avionics, which Bridger didn't want. So once Bridger got their hands on it, they were able to swap out the pre-existing avionics and install this very nice Garmin setup. Another feature that this aircraft is equipped with are 3 FM radios. That's a Forest Service modification for the Air Attack mission. And there's also a comm station for a trainee behind the co-pilot seat. Walking out of the cockpit, the door to get out is right behind the pilot seat. So I'm going to go ahead and walk out and show you what it's like to open up the cargo area. Okay. So a little bit of a two-hand operation. Do my best here. Push this button, pull that, and then at the same time, then you pull this. Pretty sweet. Now if I go back around inside the plane, so now you can see what it looks like. Sit over here. Now, the whole idea of this cargo door being as big as it is that Pilatus made it so you can fit in a ton of stuff. Skis, golf clubs, obviously gear, in this case, pallets. The idea would be that you could fly the plane up to Alaska, drop the pallet off and some people. Now you've got full air attack capabilities in the cockpit once again because you're not loaded down with too much excess weight. Perform an air attack mission, and then if you need to fly supplies back here in Montana, you just fly back over the border and you're good to go. Just gonna hop out right here. If I want to close this, there's actually a button over here. Let me show you. Just hold that button here, and then it comes on down. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the bulb or the radome that's in the right wing of this PC-12. It actually houses the weather radar inside this wing. You can find it with other turboprops in this class with the Piper M series as well as the TBM. The reason it's on the right wing and on the left is for P-factor or asymmetric thrust. It's important to realize what air attack is and how this plane really excels in that mission. So air attack, in my opinion, is the glue that holds aerial firefighting together. They're literally the command and control center for a firefighting operation. We talked about it has great performance capabilities, has great takeoff characteristics, great landing characteristics. It also can fly up to 30,000 feet. In this case, if it has to, I mean, a lot of air attack operations are done about 2,500 feet AGL or above the operations over the ground, which makes sense, they need to be close to the fire. But air attack controls the skies. With Bridger Aerospace involved, the scoopers that are actually right behind this camera, when they're on scene getting water from the fires, air attack is there in the skies, loitering basically nearby, controlling that asset. They tell them when to scoop and when to literally go and drop the water. But this plane excels in so many areas. And I think that's why a company like Bridger Aerospace decided to add not just one, but two in their fleet.
The other PC-12 they fly is multi-mission capable, which means it's sensor equipped. They call it the MMA, or multi-mission aircraft. It has advanced imaging systems on board, which allow the crew to provide real-time wildfire imagery and video to frontline firefighters, offering overhead intel for tactical decision-making. That's a direct quote from their website, by the way. It sounds so fancy. Here are some other fun facts of this PC-12. The engine is a Pratt & Whitney PT6A with 1,200 shaft horsepower. That's a lot. The takeoff distance is 2,650 feet, and the landing distance is just over 2,100 feet. The useful load is just over 4,500 pounds with a max cruise speed of 285 knots. The range on this bad boy is 1,800 nautical miles. That's over 2,000 statute miles, which is really good. The Cirrus Vision Jet has a range of 1,000 to 1,200 miles at best, and it's a jet. PC-12s have wingspans of 53 feet, which means they cannot fit inside traditional T-hangars, which are 40 feet wide. It's also 47 feet in length with a height of 14 feet. And this bird has what's called a fin-off upgrade, which means it was sent to an aftermarket facility to improve its performance. Most notably by adding a 5-bladed prop and increasing the cruise speed by about 15 knots, which is huge. PC-12s are also known for their incredible STOL characteristics, which stands for short takeoff and landing. That means this plane is more than capable of landing in remote areas and on rugged airstrips.
So this is a PC-12 model number 47. After this one, or shortly thereafter, came the NG for next generation, followed again and most recently by the NGX. And that is a pretty sweet bird. I'm gonna get my hands on that at some point to maybe do a side-by-side or at least show you the differences of what it looks like from a business aviation standpoint. The market price on this guy, brand new on the NGX version, is about $5 to $6 million.
And now it's time to give this Pilatus PC-12 a FlyBuy Score. This Series 10 is a tough, capable, and highly versatile aircraft built for demanding missions. While not configured for luxury, its performance, endurance, and multi-role capabilities make it a top-tier workhorse in the turboprop world, as evidenced by its current role as an air attack platform. However, operating costs are high, and the stick and rudder feel is more about stability than excitement. But as a utility aircraft, it excels. If you need an airplane that can haul people and cargo in a hurry and land just about anywhere, this is one of the best turboprop options available and comes in with a total flyby score of 72.
Well, that's all I have to say about this beautiful PC-12 Aerial Firefighting Edition. Until next time, I'm Rob Roy, and I'm out of here. See ya!